Isn't it fascinating when you're driving down the highway, everyone else is an idiot except for you? Right? We all have that belief. We all believe that they're doing stuff intentionally to me. They have no clue. And it's more than 8% of the time. They have no idea that the actions and the decisions they're making are actually impacting the folks around them. So if you don't like your outcomes, you've got a couple decisions you can choose from. You can blame the events for the results you didn't get, or you can change your response to the event. And this is where choice comes in moment to moment to moment to moment. As you move through your morning, through your day, through your evening, through your week, how am I going to respond to that stuff that's coming at me? Because I have a choice of how I want to take it. This is not new. I'm not introducing any new concepts to you, right? Ben Franklin talked about this thing hundreds of years ago. What's the mental framework that we want to come from that's going to affect the way we interpret the world around us? So let me talk to you briefly then about some daily choices of doing what I call the opposite of stress. Rather than making these mental choices one way, how do we choose it another way? I want to introduce you to a few people. This is Alex von Bitter. He's the co-owner and managing director of the Four Seasons Hotel in New York, which you can imagine is very prestigious if you haven't been there. Very busy man, very powerful businessman. And at night, you can find him teaching yoga classes around the city. This is Nancy McKinstry. She's the CEO of Wolters Kluwer, it's a publishing firm. Forbes recently ranked her as one of the 100 most powerful women in the world. And when she had her son, she took 5 months off maternity leave. And then lastly, we got our own US president doing all kinds of stuff to find ways of pausing, find ways of replenishing, find ways of resilience so he can deal with the immense amount of stress that he has to deal with on a day-in, day-out basis. Anybody see the roast he did of Trump the other day? See clips of that? Right? He was, right when that was happening, they were planning the invasion for Osama bin Laden. He had the ability to say, okay, I need to set that down and focus on this. We had no idea. He's sitting there roasting Trump. Seems lively and fun. At the same time, they're planning an invasion in Pakistan. Unbelievable how you can monitor yourself and handle your stress in that moment, isn't it? You had no clue that's what's going on behind the curtain. How do we do this then? We have this opportunity for ourselves any day to access our perceptions, to look at how we're engaging the world and do it entirely different than maybe the way we've always done it. I want to give you a few little tips, things you can take with you as you leave today. The best place to start practicing this is when you wake up. So you get up in the morning, your alarm goes off, maybe it looks like this. First thing I propose you do in the morning is actually wake up. And before you do anything, check in on your mind. What's my mind doing? Is it obsessing about that fight I had with my boyfriend or girlfriend or partner last night? Are you stressed about the test you've got coming today? You're worried about that interview you've got or that next meeting you've got? Where's your brain going? Where's your mind and your thoughts going as you first wake up? Maybe you're having a dream hangover, right? You're kind of playing that dream still in your head. Where's your thoughts going? Just notice. Don't do anything with them. Just notice. Then take some deep breaths. Breathing is a good thing because it keeps you alive. Taking some deep, slow breaths is good because it brings oxygen into your body and fuels your brain. Kind of gets you ready. And then before you get out of bed, make a choice. What's today going to be like for me? What am I going to try today? What am I going to do differently today? What am I not going to carry with me from my thoughts this morning into my next appointment or engagement or class? And then get out of bed. Very simple thing to do. It takes 15, 30 seconds, a minute, and you start your day. And then you move through your day, right? Going from class to seeing friends on campus, going from a meeting to going to study, going to an event, going to dinner. All these events are happening. And how do you handle yourself as you transition from one to the other? One of the biggest things I talk to executives about over and over and over again is this simple question. How are you showing up? Every time you go to engage a friend, or talk to a professor, or go to an interview, or deal with another colleague of any kind, you have the opportunity to manage yourself and say, how am I showing up for this next engagement? Am I carrying the junk from that fight I just had with that person? I haven't really shaken it off, so it's affecting how I deal with you, right? Or can I let it go and focus on the next thing that's in front of me, right? How am I going to show up and engage? Because everyone's watching. It might not be conscious. It might be very unconscious, as we learned earlier. But people are watching for what's appropriate and how you deal, and how you interact, and how you engage. This is how leaders emerge to the top. They manage their energy well. There's great research around energy management with high-performance athletes at the highest levels. They say, okay, well, what are they doing that's different? One of the things that they're finding in research with high-level performance is you have to build in recovery time. If athletes just train and train and train and train, they eventually get injured or burnt out, right? They have to recover, and recovery is just as important as the actual training. And then on top of that, what they've been learning is time has to be spent training their focus and their engagement. What's happening with their brain when they're doing these very intricate, very high impact things in split seconds, split moments, right? Where's their concentration at that time so they can be as effective as possible? So let's talk a bit about that, because really, like Arnold Palmer said, you know, the great golfer, he said, golf's the game of inches. The most important are the 6 inches between your ears. How do you handle your mind? How do you handle your thoughts? You've got a bank account of energy. We only have so much energy we can use, right? Some of it comes in the physical energy of taking ourselves places. A lot of it goes into our thoughts. If you're obsessing about that conversation, or you're seeing your prom date that still bugs you, right? Or whatever it is, there's some energy that you're giving to each event, each person, each situation, and whatever you're doing physically as well. Training, walking, sleeping, whatever it might be. So it comes down to a very simple premise. Where your attention goes, the energy flows. Right? We talk about this idea of manifesting things and what you think about, and what's that secret that Oprah was pushing. All that junk is just repackaging and remarketing the same idea over and over and over again, which is what you really want to see happen can happen if you give your attention to it. You put your mind to it, your focus to it, your awareness to it. It's like this very simple story. 2 marketing reps from a shoe company were sent to a very remote part of the world to see if they could figure out if they could expand their business into new areas. One writes back, situation hopeless, no one wears shoes. The other writes back, glorious business opportunity, they have no shoes. How are you going to look at the information that comes to you and make a decision, a choice, about what the opportunity is in front of you? About what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. So let me give you a few little tips as we wrap up on training your focus and your awareness and what I do with my mind as I move through my day. You've heard a few today. I'll give you another one. Something very simple to do is when you're walking to class, walking to your car, going anywhere, is to use that time wisely. Normally, what are we doing? We're just putting our head down and kind of plowing through and thinking about the next thing that's coming. What are we going to do? And what I propose you do is use that time to practice training your mind, training your awareness, your focus, your attention. So as you're walking, choose something you're going to tune into. It could be something as simple as the chirping of the birds. Can I let all other distraction fall away, give my full concentration just to listen to the birds as I walk to my car? Right? You're walking across campus. Don't hear any birds. What can I focus on? Well, if nothing else, you can focus on your feet. Doing something that's called walking mindfully, right? And notice your feet as you move across campus. And see if you can let other distractions fall away. Simple things. Follow your breath as you walk. Anything you can do to practice letting other distractions get out of the way and pinpoint what you want to do with your mind. Because that's what brings out the great leaders in the world. The ability to affect where their concentration goes and what they're going to do. It's like the great Nelson Mandela said. He said, there's nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you yourself have altered. So if you're lucky, like I was, you wind up in some little cafe in a remote part of Peru having this blissful moment with something as simple as a cup of coffee. Thank you very much.